In the last episode, we built artisan residences and we provided luxury goods from launderers and carpenters. In today's episode, we have a lot going on because we're building a smithy to try and solve the luxury goods shortage in Bellevue. And then we're also going to be building this beautiful clock tower right next to our town center, which I absolutely adore the look of. And then, once that's all done, it's time to move on to Brock, where we're going to be building our very first farmhouse. We're also going to be building a bunch of the unique Brock townsfolk residences with a beautiful little market alongside a lake. And we are finally checking out pets, which were added in the recent animals update. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Town to City. So at the end of the last episode, I mentioned that we were going to be moving forward today and that we were going to be looking at farming today. And we are going to be doing that because honestly, a gentle valley lake bordered by fertile grounds painting the picture of a farmer's village ready to be brought to life sounds kind of amazing, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. But I would like to deal with some of the issues that we're having in Bellevue first, so even if this video ends up being 2-3 hours long, we're going to get to some farming today, is what we're going to be doing. Although I will say, I don't think it's going to take quite that long to get to where I want to be, because we need to provide luxury goods to some of our artisans. And we can do that with something like the Smithy. We can do that with something like the clockmaker, which has 4 points of luxury. And then we also get access to metal decorations, which I'm very excited about, and clock decorations, which I'm also very excited about. So I think what we can go ahead and do is get the Smithy and then save up some points to the clockmaker, because I have an idea for where this guy can go. But while we're waiting for those points, we can go ahead and place the Smithy. And I'm thinking right here. I'm thinking right next to the launderers so that we have a nice amount of luxury coverage coming from this little corner right here. So if we go into commerce and we go to housewares, we have our Smithy. And my thinking for this guy is it can sort of live right here. So right up against the side of the launderer. I'm even tempted to maybe bring it out a little bit so that we can sort of give it a yard at the back there and make it look a little bit busier than it's otherwise going to be. The only reason I'm a little apprehensive about this is because we are limited in terms of space. We are a little bit close to the edge of the map right here. But I think we can make this work. We'll speed the game up a little bit just to get this thing built nice and quickly. We'll get ourselves a size 3 road brush, and you know what? We'll slow it down now that it's daylight. And then all we need to do is bring this. That's freeforming. That's not what I want at all. Let's take that out of there and try that again. We'll bring this across with our good old line tool right to about there, which gives this guy a road connection. And then what we can also do is maybe go straight up this way with a nice section of road as well. It actually looks like I can get this to go perfectly straight with the rest of the map. I think that looks okay. It's a little bit off at the bottom here, but that's not the end of the world. I think we can also maybe cut out this part of this road, and hopefully that's going to make it a little bit easier for me to get a nice curve on here, which it sort of looks like I can do. I'm sort of okay with that. We can maybe bring it down a little bit. I think that'll do though. And then for this guy, what I'd like to do is bring it right around like this and just see if we can get ourselves something that's going to look sort of interesting here. I think that looks kind of cool. And then from down here, I'm sort of hoping for something similar. I'm hoping we can do a little bit of this. And I'm, again, sort of okay with that. I might even bring that back a little bit. That might not be the worst idea if we sort of maybe even bring this down and just create a little space here for some trees. It could be really, really nice if we can get a little bit of greenery in here. So we'll bring this down and then try curving it around. So we'll go sort of this way. And again, I think I'm okay with that. I don't think it looks too bad. It's not perfect, but it doesn't really have to be. And it gives me some room here for some detailing around the Smithy, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm also thinking I might try and just tidy up this corner a tiny, tiny little bit right there. And that looks all right. I think I can work with that. I might just sort of widen this part ever so slightly, but again, that looks totally fine. We have some space at the back for this guy, which is what I was looking for. And so I guess we go ahead and start working on this guy. Now, what I'm thinking is that I do really want the clockmaker, but I also kind of really want the metal decorations, because that metal fence behind this guy could be really interesting. So while we're detailing this, we can save up research points. We can get the clockmaker for now. We'll get those metal decorations. And then, I mean, we get some new lights, which is very exciting. We have this lantern, which looks very, very cool. We have this little lantern too, which I absolutely love. We have green metal benches as well, which looks great. But this right here is sort of what I'm looking for. These tall metal fences, I think, are going to look really good around the smithy. So let's go from, let's say here, straight across like this, and we'll just build it, because we can go ahead and start moving this around a little bit to make it look a little bit better. So we'll go to here, and we'll go to here, and we'll go to here for now. We'll confirm that, and then hopefully I can move this so it looks just a little bit better. I'm not 100% sure that it's going to be perfect, but again, it doesn't necessarily have to be. I think right there is good. I think right there is good. I think right there is good. And then right down here, we can bring it out onto the road just a little bit. I think that's okay. We can maybe leave it open a little bit at the back there. In fact, it might be better to leave it open in the middle and do another little bit of fence on the other side so we have a way in here. Not that anyone's necessarily going to be going in here, but I think it just makes sense to have things open right about here. And I love that I can move these fences around. That makes me so happy because I can kind of line them up a little bit better. And honestly, I think that looks okay. Although I'm slightly tempted to maybe remove that bit of the wall and bring this over like this. I think that might look a little better. Yeah, I think that does look better. I don't love how this little corner's looking, but I think it looks a little bit better when we have things sort of spaced out like this. I can put some trees or decorations there, and then this is going to be our little workyard, which I suppose we're going to want to do some walls at the back of as well. So let's just do a stone wall back here, since this isn't necessarily somewhere people are going to be looking into. Admittedly, they probably shouldn't be looking into the yard in general. There might be some stuff back here that they want to not have everyone staring at, but you know what? It's okay. We can get away with a little stone wall back here. That looks fantastic. And then right here is going to be our little workyard. This is where we can put things like we can put tables, we can put chairs, we can do other various decorations, such as crates, if I can ever find them. There we go. So we'll get ourselves, I guess, some random crates back here. And there we go with a bunch more crates, some flowers, some lanterns, a ladder, and a bench. We have this little workyard coming together. There's probably more things we could put back here, and we probably will put back here. But for now, I think this is okay. This place also has a horse, which I didn't realize, but I really like that there's a horse just chilling out there. I think that's kind of cool. And we also have this space right here where I think I'm going to just put a nice big large tree. I don't know, there's something about that I really enjoy. I love these little intersections we have around the place with the trees in the middle of them. I love the trees down these main roads as well. I love how that's coming together. I really like how this area in general is starting to come together. And I think when we get down to building out here and building up here, I'm not really too concerned about the fact that we're at the edge of the map, because realistically what we can do is put a bunch of trees in here and kind of make it look like a forest. I mean, obviously we can't build outside of the map, so it's going to be a little rough around the edges, but this isn't the end of the world. We can certainly make this work. Now, what we need to do is get our hands on a couple of townsfolk to work in the smithy. And I think the way we can do that, since we have got 4 artisan workers available, is we can go into our warehouses and take 2 townsfolk out of here and put 2 artisans in there. We can do the same with this warehouse as well and take 2 townsfolk out of here and put 2 artisans in there, which now gives me 4 townsfolk that can go and work in the smithy. And having done that, we're seeing, I think, like 1 less complaint, which is certainly something. These guys still want some luxuries though. They're at 8 out of 12, which is fine because we are working towards getting the clockmaker, and it's going to give us the last 4 points of luxury coverage that we happen to need for these guys. So while we wait for those points to tick up a little bit, we could speed up the game to make it happen quicker, but I think I'm going to just build some houses. Not that we urgently need them, But I sort of like the idea that we would have a couple more little houses in here. I'm not really thinking that these guys are going to be leveled up. I don't think we're going to give them another floor because I kind of like the idea that they would be a little bit smaller and that we're also not going to be blocking the views of these houses here. So we'll build this one right here. We'll speed the game up to build it a little bit quicker. And then we can build another one right next door, which I think is going to be white, maybe? We do have some, oh, we have white and blue here already. You know what? We'll do that. We'll go for the white. We'll go for the blue. I think it looks pretty good. And then this guy just needs to be around a little bit further. I want to say right about there is probably perfect. They're basically just touching at those corners, which is completely fine. And then this space in here can just be another park, which I think is going to be kind of fantastic. And I suppose while we're doing all of this, we should probably go ahead and open things up a little bit, start bringing some people in here. We can get another person working in the clothing store, since that's a little something that we need to be doing as well. And I think we just sort of wait now. We do need to get our 500 points of research to be able to get the clockmaker. So I think, again, while we're waiting, maybe we go ahead and start moving some trees around. We'll put these guys back here. We'll move this big tree to back here for now. And we could maybe turn this into a park. And you know, I think this is the perfect opportunity to use that fancy fence that we never really bothered to use. So right about there, and I want to say right about there is going to be pretty good. Those actually lined up near perfectly, but I'd like to just shuffle them over a teeny tiny little bit so that they're slightly on the road, so that they're slightly on the path, so that we have no grass showing underneath these guys. We'll also just push it right up against that wall as best we possibly can. That looks fine as far as I'm concerned. And then over on this side, exactly the same thing right to about there. And at this end of things, I haven't really figured out where I want to go with this yet. Do I want to go around that corner? I guess we could try. We could try going right up to this tree and see what that looks like. And honestly, I don't know that I love it. I don't. I think we'll just stick with what we had. Maybe swap out this tree for some bigger trees or some bushes, but I think this looks okay. And I think I'm okay with this. Now, what we can also do is move this tree. Maybe we just get rid of those, actually. In fact, I think we get rid of all of these and sort of build this from scratch. We will probably put some trees back here and fill in this space, but I think this is okay. Oh, we also totally have people that want to move in. Now, you guys want to be surrounded by nature, which, I mean, this is going to be. So I think we'll move you in here. You guys want to be near leisure buildings, which will be, I guess, this place down here. And then these guys want to be near service buildings, which unfortunately we don't have right now. But I think what we'll do is move them into this house because eventually we are going to be looking at service buildings. And so that is eventually going to be something we can cover. Now, how are we looking for the, still don't have the research. That's okay. We can fill this space out again while we're sort of waiting. So I think what we'll do is get some sand. We'll turn on dithering. And we just want to sort of free form a little bit of sand around the edges of this lake, just the way we've kind of done elsewhere. We can maybe swap out some of this grass for the bright grass, just to get rid of some of the sandy patches that we have in here, because I don't necessarily love those. And then I think we can probably just do similar to what we've done before, although maybe some picnic tables will be good in here. This might be nice as a bit more of a social space. With things like the picnic tables, with the nice light picnic tables as well. I do like that as an idea. I do. So maybe what we do is a little picnic table, say here, and a little picnic table, say here. Maybe just two of them will be enough for the area. We could do a fountain if we really wanted to, although I think that's a little bit much. That feels a little too built up and proper. I do like the idea of some parasols, though. I wish I could place these on the tables. That would be very, very cool. But I think what we do is we have blue, we have white. I think we stick with the blue for the parasols. I think that could be kind of a fun idea. So we'll put one right here. And we'll do another one. Do I want to do it on the other side of them? I think I do, just so that they're not perfectly symmetrical. So we'll go for here. And that looks okay. I think it adds a nice little bit of shade to the tables. I mean, it doesn't. Admittedly, the shadow is falling firmly off of both tables, but you know what? That's okay. And you know, I keep going back and forth looking at this and figuring out whether or not I can add more things to it, whether or not it needs more things. We do have these street lights. We have this little bench down here. But I think, honestly, it might just be okay not having too much more in here. And instead, we just go through and put down a bunch of bushes and things like that. So I would like to go through and just get some dry grass coming through here. I think that's going to be good to have around these benches to make it look like a bit of a path. I could, if I wanted to, actually put a path in here. That might make a bit more sense, but I don't think we need to. I think the townsfolk can kind of navigate this space easy enough themselves. I don't really know if that's going to be necessary to actually build a little path in here. But I do like the idea that we have something that looks like it. I think it just makes a bit of sense. I'm also slightly tempted to maybe build a well back here. I don't know how much sense that necessarily makes. I don't know if it's needed, but I sort of like the idea. We also have this one with the blue roof that works really nicely for the theme that we have going through this. So I think what we do is we build it. I think we try it out. We see, I mean, is that too much? I don't think it is. I think we can work with that. And then what we can do again is just put some of this dry grass around it so it looks like people are walking around it. We can do a little bit of path just going up to it like this. And I want to say that's probably okay. I don't think we need to go too much further than that with all of our terrain painting. I would like to try and get just a little bit more bright grass in here around some of these edges so that we have a little bit more green going on, because we have taken some of that away with the dry grass. And admittedly, in saying that, we are going to be adding a bunch of it back with nature, which I think is perfect. So let's get a pine tree. And let's do a pine tree. In fact, you know what? We'll just use the regular large trees. We'll randomize them and we'll put one. Oh, wait, no, this is going to block some views if I do this, which I don't necessarily want to do. We'll put a large tree here so that we do have a large tree in the area. And then I think we'll go back to the small trees. We'll randomize and we'll dot some of those just sort of down here to nicely surround the well, which I think that does. We'll do some bushes in that space as well. And then maybe some medium trees just to change things up over on this side. So a nice medium tree right there seems pretty good. And I do want to be really careful to not block the views from these houses. That's something I'm trying to avoid. So if we go into to bushes, at the very least, I can hopefully get some bushes down around here, which will hopefully look good. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, is I can get some, I'd really like to get some bushes in here. I can get one there, which I think is okay. And I can get one right about there, which I think is okay. It's about as good as we're going to get. We can do some little bushes back here as well. I would like to get some color on those. We can do some slightly larger bushes around the bottom of this this lamp, which I think is going to be good just to, blend it in a little bit. I do think we're going to need a tree in here. I'm not really too sure what that tree is going to be, but I do think we're going to need it, because I do think it's going to, this is going to feel a little bit too open otherwise. So medium trees, we have this guy. It's the same as that tree on the right, but honestly, I think that's the right tree for the space. It doesn't block the view too much, which is great. And if we go to small trees, maybe a little small tree here would be a bit of an idea as well. Yeah, I think that's definitely the right choice. And there we go. I love how this has turned out. I really, really do. I also love that we can put these little lanterns on tables. I think that's going to look adorable, but I love this space. I do. I'm so pleased with how that's turned out. It seems like such a nice neighborhood to live in. Things are still a little bare back here, but we'll not worry too much about that. This area, man, I'm so pleased with it. I love this fence as well. I love sort of the blue and the white that we have going through all of it. I'm just so happy with how this has turned out. Now, these guys want to live near a cliff. Fortunately, we have that option for them. These guys want to be near water, which apparently we don't have that option for them. Can I move someone out of here? Can I move you guys into that house and put you guys in there? There we go. So that makes them a little bit happier as well. We do have some businesses over here that want some extra workers, so we'll go ahead and make sure that's all covered. And it doesn't seem like we have too much demand for workers elsewhere. So I think what it's time to do is go into our research menu and get the clockmaker, because that's obviously something that we're going to be wanting and needing. And this is kind of what I'm thinking for public services. So we have the school, we have the chapel, we have things like pottery, which is luxury, admittedly. But when it comes to the public services like the school and the chapel, I'm kind of thinking that eventually, not today, we can build them out here. So this guy, this launderer, is going to need to move, but having a church in this space, having a little chapel in this space, sort of gives us back our sight line straight through towards a pretty major looking building. But like I said, that's something we can worry about a little bit later on, because right now I want to focus on getting this clockmaker in here, which is such a good looking building. Look at you. Now I know exactly where this is going to go. It's going to go on this corner, which does mean that this good old research center is going to need to go away. But I think what I'm also going to do is maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, take you guys out of there. I'm just going to assign all of my artisans to work in here. So 600 research per day is pretty good. What I'm also going to do is move this to a spot just over this way, because I think this just makes sense. I think having this guy over here, it just seems like a pretty good idea. So I'm going to say right about there is going to be the chosen location. And then all of these trees just need to move back and out of my way, because I am going to put some roads over to this, because we do need a road connection for this guy. So what we can do is get a regular road. We can start with our line tool, and we can go a little bit, not like that, but we can go a little bit like, well, maybe a little bit further out, just to try and avoid it clipping into the building, which we've managed to do. So right to about there seems pretty good. For the rest of this, I sort of want to go this way a little bit. In fact, quite a bit, just something like that. We'll bring this road maybe up the hill as well. So it's sort of going to curve up that way and then continue in a nice straight line towards the little lake that we have here. And then this can all be connected together, and that'll give us access to our research center again, which is absolutely perfect. So we'll do... Oh, how are we going to do this connection? I guess to there, and then just a little straight section should connect that together really nicely, which it does. Over this way, I'm kind of wondering, we're doing size 3 brushes, so if I go down to a 1.5 and I get just to the side of this, can I get this to work in a way that doesn't look terrible? So we have this, break off into 2 smaller sections of road, just because I can, just because I think it's going to look kind of cool. Can I do the same thing down here? We sort of can. I don't know that I love it. I think this side's actually a little bit off, which is not helping, but I don't hate it either. I think it looks kind of interesting. If we just sort of widen those up a little bit, which we've managed to do, I think that looks okay. I think that looks fine. I think that's a good connection for the research center, which technically isn't connected to this road at all. So let's just move it and snap it to the road, which we can sort of do. In fact, can I just sort of freeform place this thing so it's right about there? There we go. So that's up and running again, and it's more efficient than it's ever been. And of course, it frees up this corner right here, because I think the clockmaker on this corner would be perfect. So what we'll do is make sure it's connected, which it absolutely is. We can put it right about there, and we'll speed things up because I want to see what this looks like. I'm really excited. I think this is, I think this is going to be the final touch on our city center. And you know what? It definitely is. I love that. It does need some, it does need some artisan workers though. So we might want to take maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them out of there. We'll put the townsfolk back in there so we have all of our research. And then you are going to get all 5 of them, which, has that solved our problem? It has not. It absolutely has not. They do want some food as well, though, which is something we can hopefully deal with. Oh, this is part of the problem, too. We don't have enough coverage for this warehouse. So I guess we go ahead and open up the station again. And while we're waiting for people to come in here, I want to just decorate this thing because I think it's going to look amazing. Now, what we can do is maybe bring the ground back to just grass for a second so that we can get an idea of what we're dealing with here. Because my thinking for this guy is that we just I think we pave around the whole thing. I do. But I want to use a little trick that I used in, I think, City Skylines for terrain painting. And I say it's a little trick, but it's basically, let's say I want to draw a straight line with terrain paint right here. Obviously, we can start on the left and I can just drag my mouse across, but it's not really a straight line. It doesn't look the way I would want it to. So what you can do, and again, this isn't revolutionary, this isn't changing the game, I'm not the one that discovered this, but just as a little bit of advice, let's say I want a straight line directly across my screen. If I just click and hold and then I use, A or D to move the camera, we get effectively a perfectly straight line, which just looks so good. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because I'm going to kind of do that down here. I want to, oh, that thing is at a bit of an angle, but you know what? That's okay. I want to do something like this and then something like this so that we have that little corner right there and so that the lines are just a little bit cleaner than they'd otherwise be. And I think that looks okay. I do. I think that looks all right. I'm not too sure if this is going to line up perfectly, but we'll take out that part. We'll take out that part. That really did not work the way I wanted it to, but you know what? It's okay. We'll do something like that. I actually think that does look a little cleaner, being a little bit tighter to the building. And then in terms of the building, I do want to do some lanterns. I think some lanterns around here would be really good. I think we could maybe do I want to do one of these guys in this corner? Is that a little bit too much? It feels like a little bit too much. This feels a little better in terms of a street light on that corner. I'm not sure if I love it, but it feels a little better. And then down this way, we'll do something similar. We'll put a little street light just in this spot to sort of brighten up the front of the building. And I think I'm going to do the same back here. I think a little street light just back here would be a pretty good idea as well. Now, you might be wondering what I'm going to do with the space behind the clockmaker. That is something we're going to deal with shortly. But like I said, first things first, I sort of want to deal with, decorating the building itself. Now, the way we can do this, since it's a very kind of reddish, orangey building, is with some white flowers, I think, around this this first level of windows. Well, technically that's the first level of windows, but around this level of windows, we'll do some nice white flowers. I think we go for the purple ones for the next level, just to add a little bit of a contrasting color to the tower itself. And I think some lanterns up here would be such a nice touch if we just do a lantern right there and a lantern right there. That'll light up the clock face at night, which is perfect. We also have people up here. Oh, I didn't know they could get up here. That's very cool. That is very, very cool. Can I do some flowers up there? Is that something we can do? It is, but I don't know if I want to do that because it might be kind of a pain to try and put them all the way around that clock tower. Very, very cool that you can do that though. I do. Oh, hold on a minute. We can do this. I'm not going to do it there because it sort of blocks the design of the clock a little bit, but this is very, very cool. Oh, I like that a lot. I don't want to do it down there either, but I do like that a lot. I'm going to say the bluish purple ones up. Actually, you know what? They're a little bit too dark up there. Oh man, I'm having so much fun detailing in this game. I'm having way too much fun just detailing everything in this game. I know, it's not for everybody. It's a little slow. I know these episodes are a little bit long as well, and I do ramble on a bit, but I don't know. I'm having so much fun with this. I really, really am. I know we've talked about it before, but I don't know. I feel like everything lately, this is nothing to do with the game, but this is just a conversation we can have while I'm detailing, because this is what we do on this channel. I feel like everything in recent years, this is me putting on my old man yells at cloud hat. I feel like everything has moved way too far towards everything being short form. Everything needs to be a clip. Everything needs to be like this viral little 30-second snippet that you can see in your timeline and be like, ha ha ha, that's funny, and then move on from. I feel like everything's just doing that. I mean, there's still great long-form media out there, But everything has to have that one moment. There has to be that viral moment within longer form media. Like a show like Doctor Who, a show that I have loved for 20 years. One of the criticisms that people have had lately is that the people running it seem more interested in creating sort of viral controversy or whatever, rather than writing a good show. And I hate to say it, but I kind of agree to an extent with some of that. I do. I do think there's an element of that. And it sucks. So the point I'm getting at is I like longer form stuff sometimes. I like my clips. Like if I've got 30 seconds, you know, to scroll through my Instagram feed or whatever it might be, or whatever, you know, I'm waiting on a bus, I'm waiting on a train, I'm on the toilet, you know, it's fine, but I don't know. I don't think short form stuff is for me in terms of what I make on the internet. I have talked. I'm so used to saying the words I've seen some comments that's just my default now whenever I've actually talked to a person. I have talked to some people here and there who are like, man, you should try and like turn this video or like get some shorts from that video or whatever. I don't know how I would turn anything I do into a YouTube short. Like in this video, for example, I don't know. I can't think of any. I mean, you know, I'm in the middle of a little bit meta, but I'm in the middle of recording it. Surprise. I don't know of any moments in this video that I can think of off the top of my head that I would be like, oh, clip that, bro, clip that. Oh my God, chat, clip that, clip that. That's going to my shorts YouTube channel. It just doesn't. It's not me. It's not what I do. You know, if you go back 10 years to the original City Skylines stuff, I described them so many times as one-man podcasts, because that's ultimately what they were. That's sort of how I looked at them, because I thought that was fun. It was just me sitting down to play a game, to play City Skylines. Oh, we almost dealt with the problem. What have you not got? You don't have clothes. Okay, well, that's not ideal. We're gonna have to do something about that. But for now, can I just move you guys into a different house? And does that get rid of the complaint? No, the house doesn't have clothes coverage. I guess to get to the point, to wrap up this particular conversation, the whole idea behind this YouTube channel, going back 13 and a bit years now, is that I wanted to sit down and share the games that I enjoy and talk about the things that I enjoy in those games. And that's still sort of ultimately the idea of what I want to do here. So I don't think, you know, don't get me wrong. This is my job. It has been my job for a while. So there is an element of like, I like to pay my bills, right? You know, I'll admit that. I am someone that enjoys paying his bills, and well, I don't enjoy paying my bills. I like to not get the angry text messages from my phone provider and my ISP that are like, you haven't paid your bill this month, we're gonna kill you. You know, that's slight exaggeration, just slightly, but you know, it has its benefits, right? Being able to pay my bills off of this has been one of the greatest pleasures and joys, and I'm very lucky to be able to do that. But it is still ultimately something where, you know, I want to share what I'm interested in. I want to talk about the games that I'm interested in. I want to do it the way I want to do it. So I don't know what the message or the point of this conversation is. I think it's just that, you know, could I pivot and do a bunch of YouTube shorts and do those like funny City Skylines, like, oh my God, everything's on fire. Oh, clip it, chat. Yeah, probably. Am I going to? Probably not. Am I going to stress? I mean, I used to stress about long videos. Again, if you go back a little bit, you might be aware, you might remember some of the tweets and the posts and things like that were like, I need to make videos shorter. And I've said it in videos as well. I've been like, I need to make videos shorter. Obviously, that hasn't really worked out. Obviously, videos have lately especially just gotten longer. And I don't think we're going to go over 2 hours, but well, today we might, but I don't know what the point of this conversation is. Anyway, what I'd like to do with this little alleyway, and this will be the last thing we do in Bellevue before we move on, is I want to go in and I want to get some stalls, because I think some little stalls back here could be kind of adorable. So I think a poultry stall is kind of a fantastic idea for a bit of this space. I think we do a little poultry stall right about there. And then next to it, we could do vegetables. It's a little bit of a bigger stall though. I don't necessarily love it. Yeah, we're not doing that one. We could do the fruit stall. It's a bit of a longer one. I don't necessarily mind the idea of it being back here, but it doesn't necessarily fit either. What about this one? This is our fish stall. This is our cheese stall. We'll do the cheese one. I do enjoy cheese, so it can live, I want to say, right about there is probably fine. Now, I do want to just take those guys off of that road a little bit. So what we can do is hopefully just erase a little bit of that road, just a little something like that. We'll just erase down into here as well. I can fix that kind of easily, but something like that should be fine. We can get our brick road and we can just redo this part right here until it looks the way it's supposed to look, which I think that does. I actually love that. I really do. I love the idea of this little tiny market in here. It just feels good. It feels like a good place for it. I think what we can also do is maybe some trees right here, so that there's kind of the illusion of privacy in this house, so they're not looking right down into the market. I think that would be pretty good. We could maybe do some hanging plants just here, and I can't do there, but that's okay. We'll not worry too much about it. We'll do just the one. We'll give them some benches. I really love these little tables that we have here. I think they're adorable. So we'll do a little table and chairs just in this corner so they can sit and kind of enjoy a coffee on their balcony with a lantern on it. No. Okay. Can do a lantern there. I think that's pretty good. I do like that. I'm not going to do one over the door because I don't think we need it. I think what we can do is maybe some little white flowers just in these windows. I think that looks okay. And I think we also need to just paint the ground underneath it with no dithering and a small brush so that we have this connection right there. And I think that looks okay. I'm also really wishing I could paint the balconies. That would be kind of cool, but maybe a little bit much. All right, there we go. I love how this space has turned out. I know that we've spent forever on this today already, and it's it feels weird to have, you know, to know that we still have a lot to do. This isn't the end of the video, don't worry. I really love this. I think the clock tower brought this space together so well. I'm so pleased with that. I love this little park down here as well. I love the little market that we have going on. I'm just so pleased with this space. I do think we should maybe do a little lantern in here somewhere, because we can, if I'm not mistaken, put a lantern on this table, which I think is kind of a fantastic idea. I think a lantern up there is pretty good. You can hang them from market stalls as well. I don't know that I want to though. I think I want to do like a little lantern just here, just sort of tucked onto the side of this market stall, so we have a little bit of light coming from that as well. And you know, I want to do some signs. I think a little sign over here for the market would be good. I think that kind of makes sense. I think a little sign up here would be kind of cool, just because I think it kind of makes sense. And I think some little chairs back here would be a really good idea as well, so people can kind of sit and enjoy the market if that's a thing that they want to do. I think that's pretty good too. I love this space. I really do. I'm not too sure how and when we're going to come up and around here. We absolutely are at some point, but that's not going to be right now because we have some farming to do. We also have some research to do just before we do that. I want to get the money vault upgrade so we can have more money. I think that's going to be kind of important. We could get third floor housing. That would also be an option. Some extra clotheslines might not be a terrible idea. The autumn nature decorations I want, but we're going to hold off on those because I don't think we need them. The extra clotheslines, I'm not too sure we need those. removing rocks and upgrade roads. I don't know that we need either of these. I have had a bit of a look at what upgraded roads actually looks like, and it's kind of interesting, but I just don't know. I'm not 100% sure on this one. Maybe we get it just because we can. So this is going to allow us to draw over previously built roads to upgrade them. Upgrading roads is expensive, but significantly reduces the transport costs of warehouses. Now, here's my problem with upgraded roads, and you can kind of see it there. It sort of creates a curb between the old road and the new road. It does look really good. I don't love that. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's good to have. I'm glad we've got it, but I'm not too sure how much I'm going to use it. So I think, just to make sure I'm not tempted to get anything else that I don't need, such as Halloween decorations, let's get the clock decorations. Okay, so welcome to Fontbrock, our farming town. Let's start our journey by setting up the first farmhouse. So if we go into the houses category, we have the townsfolk residence, which looks adorable. I love that. I love that more than the townsfolk residences in Belleview. I think that looks really good. And then we have the farmer residence, which also kind of looks amazing. I'm really, really enjoying the look of this thing. Now, I think what I'm going to do with this, since this will probably end up being a sort of town center area, is I'm going to come out here and I'm thinking we build some farmers residences near this lake. I think that could be kind of fun. I'm not really too sure what these guys look like or how they work though. So maybe we don't go too far away with this thing just for the time being. Maybe we don't get too carried away. So let's do, you know what? We'll do this. We'll have it here. That way we have, oh, I don't know where to put this. I don't know where to put this. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to need some fields. So, oh man, I'm really not sure. Let's just do here. That'll be fine. We'll just build it right about there and that'll be okay. And that'll be our first little farmhouse, which again, I think looks amazing. I love the look of this. Now we're going to need to assign a family to this place, which means we need to open the station, which means we're going to need some roads and things like that. So we'll get our brick road. We could do the plaza road. We could be different with this place if we wanted to be, but I think we'll stick with the brick road because it has the little curbs on it right there. And I think what we do is we go for a 7 wide road because I sort of have an idea here. And we get it roughly as central as we can, which I think that's going to be. We'll drag this guy out. And that's maybe a little bit too much. That's maybe a little bit too wide right there. But I'm going to just stick with it, is what I'm going to do. We'll go down to a size 3, which is what we usually go for. Maybe even down to a size 2. Maybe even down to a 1.5. Maybe even down to a 1, now that I think about it. Because if I do a 1... and I get this roughly in the middle, that would mean that we have some size 3 roads on either side of this little divide right here. And I'm sort of all about that. I think that could be kind of cool. So we'll just do a little bit of a division down the middle of this road right to about there. And that is going to be our main street, I guess. Now, how we connect out to this guy, I'm really not too sure. I haven't really thought that far ahead. But I think what we can do is put a little stamp of a road right here and a little stamp of a road right here. We could maybe do the same down this way, but we are going to want to do a warehouse down there at some point, so maybe we don't need to do that. I think what we do is we do another stamp and another stamp right here and a stamp here as well and a stamp right about here as well. That one actually needs to come out just one more little bit. So again, that kind of gives us our main road right there, which is very exciting. I just don't know what we do with this. So maybe, first off, we switch to a circle. Second off, we get the line tool. Maybe we go like this. So actually, do I want to follow the contour lines of these hills? We could. I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow them perfectly, but we could do a little something like this. We could do a little something like this. And then just work to curve those together, which we can totally do. I think that looks great. And then some kind of little S bend, I think, between these two road segments. So we would go and do maybe this and then connect them together in a way that hopefully works. So we come around a little bit like that, I think. That's actually really not working at all. That's really, we might need to take out a little bit of this road right here is what I'm thinking. So we'll just bring out this part. We'll bring it back a little bit further, and then we'll try and do this curve again, which this time I think looks much better. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That looks pretty good. Down this way, we want to go in the opposite direction with the curve. And again, I think that looks pretty good. So this brings us out. It brings us sort of around the contour lines at the bottom of this hill. We could sort of turn up the hill a little bit, which I'm not necessarily thinking well, I guess there's no harm in doing it right now. My thought process here is I sort of want to go straight up here. So we're going to cut straight through those contour lines is kind of my thinking. But I suppose if I went here, that's sort of the same thing, and that might work better for this little curve down here. So let's see if I can connect these guys together. It looks like we totally can, and I think that looks good. That gives us a direction that we can go to build this place out at some point, which is great, and it gives us space to connect this little farmhouse. And this is something I'm really excited about. This is something I'm really interested in figuring out. So if I do a little road right here and we turn off the curvature, we just bring this straight out to here, and then we do something similar down here. So this comes in and then curves around. That looks pretty good as far as I'm concerned. I like it. We could do some fences around this. We could do, oh, I'm excited. I'm getting ideas. Oh, I'm getting ideas. This isn't good. This isn't good. I know it sounds like it's a good thing, but it's not, because I'm getting too many ideas. Let's start bringing some trains in here. Let's bring some people in here and see just what exactly this is going to look like. I think what we do is we get our fences right away. I think we go for this little wooden fence because it's just perfect. And then this just needs to go basically right around this, this curve right here. So right down to here, right over to here, right over to here. And I think we just sort of keep going with it. I think we can kind of drag this out a little bit, maybe to there and right to there. And that'll do for now. That's probably enough space for whatever we're doing. We have you guys. You're going to live in that farmhouse, and we have housed our first farmer residents. This family will take care of their land and can't be employed elsewhere. Okay, I can deal with that. That is by no means the end of the world. Farmers have settled in. Let's research the first crop and crop-powered building. Open the research menu and locate the farms tab. So that's going to be over here. The research menu, or this research menu, uses farm points to unlock new items and tiers. Farm points are generated by providing your residents with crop-powered commerce. Okay, so we want to get grapes and we want to get the winery. Let's plant the first crops. Click on the farm and open the farm tab. So that's going to be down here. This menu allows you to access your crop brushes and an overview of the farmhouse. Oh, oh, we're doing this. Oh, we're doing this. We are doing this. Is what we're going to do. I'm excited. I'm really excited about this. So 3,400 square meters is a lot. That's a lot of farmland. But I think what we do is we come down here and we just bring this little fence right along this road to, I want to say we go a little bit further. I want to say to about there. We can bring it back to about there. And if I wanted to, you can curve fences. That is an option, but I don't know that I love it. Although that doesn't look too bad. I'll be honest. That right there, I think I can manage. So we'll do that. We'll get rid of the curve and just sort of bring this straight over to the water. And I want to say that's okay. Yeah, that's a lot of land. That's a lot of space, but I'm excited about it. This fence down here, let's add a node to it. We're just going to bring it sort of straight back and straight back to the water here as well, so that we can get a nice big farm. Oh, that's going to look so good. That's going to look so good. I'm so excited for this. We'll edit this and then just paint in everything we're going to need. Now, I don't know if we're actually going to have enough space to make this work. I really, really don't, but I don't know that I care. I don't know that I care. I don't want it on the outside of the fence. That's important. In fact, you know what? We can just paint it all in first, and then we can just tidy up the excess a little bit here just to make sure that we're not going over the fence line. That's actually already almost maxed out our potential production here. That's, wow. That's a lot more space than I was expecting. Okay. Well, in that case, let's erase a bunch of it because I want a bunch of the crops to be out front. That's kind of important to me. In fact, I think it's more important to me that they are visible from the front here than they are at the back. So let's just fill in. Oh, wow. We really don't have as much space as I thought we did. Oh, this is annoying. Okay. Erase all of this as well. And then we'll fill in the front of the place, which I guess looks okay. Do I like that? I don't know that I do now. Oh, no. Right. This has not exactly gone to plan. We can sort of fill in this area, which is fine. We're so close to having the max here. We're at like 3391 out of 3400. Can I fill in, can I get like a square brush here and just fill in like that bit? That gives us 3400. Okay. So yes, we have a lot of extra space back here. That's not exactly ideal. Let's bring this let's bring this fence just in a little bit, and we'll add a node right here that goes up to the well, it doesn't need to go right to the farmhouse yet, I suppose. We can give them like a yard, right? We'll give them some space out back, but not too much. We're not giving them, well, I don't know. What do we want to do here? I hadn't really thought about this. Maybe we do that to start with. And then if we get the fence again, we can leave a little bit open, and maybe that's just like, I don't know, maybe it's like a little yard at the back of the house. We can put some stuff back there. Maybe like some, I don't know, a slide or hopscotch or whatever. It's like a backyard, or maybe some farm tools. I don't really know. Anyway, the crops are planted, but they still need to be processed so that you can use them for commerce. Let's make sure your farmer residents are happy and productive. Happier farmers produce more crops. Farmers won't have their crops available for commerce if their happiness is below 60%. So that tells me that we're going to want a winery, which is an amazing looking building. Man, I'm so sad about not being able to get a decent sized farm on this place. Maybe this fence, you know what? I'm going to spend a second here to make this better. I'm going to erase all of this. It's what I'm going to do. And then I want to go to this fence. I'm going to take out all of this part of the fence. We'll take out you. That was the entire fence. Okay, fair enough. We'll just make the area a little bit smaller out front. So we'll start right about here. We'll drag this out to maybe 2 sort of long fence lengths right there. Should be fine. We can bring this back a bit, which I think looks fine like that. I'd like to curve this around as best we possibly can to about there. And then we'll bring this over to the lake. And I'm hoping that that's a bit of a better space. It is smaller, which is sort of what we're looking for. We can maybe get rid of this fence for a second as well, just to see what we're going to be dealing with. And now if we go, no, we don't want to demolish you. We want to add your farm back. So we'll make this a little bit smaller in terms of brush size. And I guess we just start, well, actually, no, we can use the square. We can start sort of around the edges here and see if we can work something good into this space. I'm really, really hoping that this works. I'm really hoping I can surround, I want the front and the back of the building to have a bunch of crops. Not too many, it doesn't need to be crazy, but something like this to start with. We can fill in all of this space as well, which brings us up to 3,100. And then maybe if I just bring this straight down, that gives us 3338. And another run straight down is, it's not perfect, is it? Okay. In that case, we're going to just have to deal with the fact that, unfortunately, we're going to just not max out this farm because I think that looks so much better. I really do. I'm also keenly aware of the fact that I will want to take this out and just extend this fence before I get too much further. So we'll bring this down to about, let's see, that's the line we're looking for. So right to about there, I think, is what we want to do. And then this just goes straight up to here and straight up to the edge of the water. Yeah, it looks fine. I'm okay with that. Let's paint in the rest of the farm because apparently I can't decide on what it's going to look like. And yeah, that looks so much better to me. That looks so good. I love that so much. I'm so pleased with that. Okay. We need some more buildings and we need some people in here. We need places for people to live. So let me do another little section of road in here. We're going to go for our usual size 3, but I'm going to move it sort of this way a little bit. So it's not going to line up with this guy. It is going to go basically down here a little bit. So we have some room in front of them. In fact, maybe just a slight little shift over and we'll go to here and that'll be okay. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to connect these together because this is going to be a little bit of a nightmare, but if I can do a slight little curve like this and a slight little curve like this, I'm okay with that. Although it sticks out slightly on this side, which I don't necessarily love. We can totally fix that though by just doing that. And then also doing a little bit of that. Yeah, that looks fine. That looks totally okay. And then what we can do is get ourselves some houses. We can get these townsfolk residences, which look amazing. I love these things. Let's do the white one to start with, and I'm going to try and freeform these as well. So we'll do this one to start with right about there. We can speed the game up a little bit as well. We're then going to go for this tan looking one, which is going to go, I want to say about there is what I'm looking for. We'll go for the red one. And it's going to go roughly, I think, there is where the red one's going to go. So that gives us 3 houses. We can start moving some families into these houses. We can do our usual trick of painting underneath the doors just to make it look like it's connected to our road, which is important to me. So right about there, right about there, and right about there. And you'll notice this is lining up perfectly because I was lining up the corners of these houses with the little pixels underneath. So this is, I'm being very particular with where I'm putting things is what I'm doing. So let's get you guys moving in. The average happiness is under 60% and new families do not want to move in. That's okay. We're getting there is what we're doing. We do have one more family ready to move in though. So let's get another house. Let's go for the tan one and let's see if I can get this to line up the way we did with the other ones. I think this needs to go over one more. I think that's about what I'm looking for. So right about there for another house, we'll get our usual paint ground option and it fits perfectly. Let's get you guys into this house. That gives us 8 workers, which is fantastic news because we can go and get ourselves a winery. And this guy is such a good looking building. I think it's going to live pretty much on this corner is what I want to do. So let's try right about there is what I'm thinking. I think that'll be pretty good. We are going to need to provide food as well for everybody. So that'll be something like a butcher, perhaps. We're also going to need a warehouse now that I think about it. And we have a granary too. Interesting. We'll get that in just a second. I think for now, do I want a small warehouse or a large warehouse? More efficient when placed near shops. It is more efficient when placed near shops. I think we can get away with a small warehouse to begin with. Although I think I'd like to do a little stretch of road right here just before we get too carried away with all of this. So we'll bring a little stretch of road out here. We can bring a little stretch of road just out here. That way my buildings aren't right against the train station, which I think is going to be a good idea. Now, something I'm wary of is not spending too much money because our earnings are only $104. We do need to be mindful of that. But I think what we do is a little warehouse right on this corner. How much is the big 200 for the big one? Maybe we just do the big one. Although I don't know how much, well, no, hold on a second. Let's do the butchers first. let's get this guy in here because I think it's going to be important that we have everybody fed. I think keeping them happy is going to be important as well. So let's try and get this as close to the winery as we can, which is going to be right about there. It is 200. I think I'm okay with that. I think we can afford it. And then next to this guy, I don't think we have room for a big warehouse, but we do have room for the little one. So that's what we're going to do. We'll do the little warehouse right about, I guess. Can I get it closer to that road? I totally can. Can I get it right on that corner? I almost can. In fact, I pretty much can. So we're going to do that so I can potentially put a little yard behind it because I think that's going to be amazing. And then what we can do is get the butcher up and running, get the winery up and running, and then get the warehouse up and running. Now you'll notice we're losing money, but we are, thankfully, looking at some happiness here. So what we can do is hopefully bring some more people in. We can go over this way and maybe build another one of the white houses. We'll kind of keep that little pattern going. And the idea is that the more people we move in, the more money we're going to get. And hopefully we don't go broke. That's not something I was thinking I'd have to concern myself with in this game, but apparently it is. And that's okay. You need a granary connected to the farmhouse so the family can store their crops and transport them through the city, similar to a warehouse. Okay. We can do that. We can totally do that. Let's move you guys in down here. And that's got us making $7. That's okay. If we look into here, we have the granary, which is huge. Oh man, I do love this. Is it more efficient? Let's see. A large warehouse that collects crops from active farms. Worker demand based on amount of land per farmhouse. I sort of like the idea of the granary being out here. I do. I like the idea of it being right next to our farms. It feels like it makes the most sense to have it out here. But I'm slightly tempted to maybe do it back here. So it's, you know, maybe surrounded by farms at some point. I think that could be quite cool. So maybe that's what we do. Maybe we try and get this thing right against the fence, which I'm very close to doing. I'm very close to. I'm gonna do it. There we go. I think that's about as good as we're gonna get, and that's okay. I think that works. Yeah, it can live out here. That'll be fine. We'll get more farmhouses around it at some point here in the not too distant future. But this thing is a very cool looking building. Now what we can do for the connection is maybe just dirt. I think a little dirt connection here is totally fine. We can do something like this right here, and that looks good. We can get 2 people working in there as well, which means it's up and running. We are losing money, which I don't love, but that's okay. We need to open the economy menu and locate the farming overview tab. This is where you can view information regarding your crops and crop-powered buildings. This information is relevant to the current map. Okay, so let's start enabling wine production, which is great. And we are making money as well, which is very, very good news. I'm very happy about that. I think what I'd like to do then is go into decorations, and I think I want to get a little wooden fence, and I'm going to try my best to build it right about there and just bring it in a straight line down to about there, and then maybe sort of up and around to this path so that we kind of enclose the front of the granary just a little bit, and then maybe here as well. This might be overkill. That's not the right fence. This might be overkill. This might not be necessary, but I think just having that fence down that road just looks so much better. Even though the granary is already surrounded in walls and fences, I just like this. It also gives me an opportunity to put some trees in here. So maybe not a cypress tree, maybe maybe a medium tree would be a bit of an idea, and we'll go for this guy just right out front. And I'm okay with that. I do. I think that's fine. I think that's all right. Yeah, I like that a lot. I really do. I'm so pleased with that. Now, we're going to want more people living out here. We are going to need to provide them with clothes at some point as well. We're going to want to stay on top of money production, which is going to be a whole thing. I'm kind of wondering if I want to do some houses over here. Because my thinking is that the farms are probably going to come out this way. So some houses back here wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, which is totally something we could do. If I go into roads, I go into the circle brush, we get our usual one with size 3. We can sort of bring a little road out here and then try to bring it around the fences. And I think that could look kind of amazing, to be completely honest. I do like the idea of having some little houses on a road that's just right up against the farms. I'm not sure if I want to go around this lake though. I'm not really too sure what that's going to look like just yet, but I do like this as an idea. So this is basically just what we're going to do. We're going to commit to this and see if it works. Basically is what we're going to do. So we'll go to about there, and that'll be fine. We'll get our square brush and freeform just to tidy up this little bit here. And you know what? I think I'm going to just erase this little bit at the end so it doesn't go right up to the lake, because we could maybe do a park around this. We can maybe, if we want to, do a bit of a sharp turn here and kind of have this go up and around here as well. But I like this as this seems like a nice space for some houses. So let's do exactly that. Let's get some houses. Let's rotate you around. Now this is going to be a little tricky, admittedly, because getting these guys to line up perfectly is not going to be as easy as it was over on the other side. I think I'm also going to leave some space between this and the road on the left there, just so I can do some detailing, just so we can get a little something in there. We'll speed the game up a bit as well, so that we can get this a bit quicker. And I think what we do, actually, you know what? I'm going to bulldoze you is what I'm going to do. We're going to bulldoze you, and over this way, we're going to do the blue houses, because we haven't played with these yet. We use the every other color of house on the other side of town. This can be a bunch of blue houses, which might be quite nice. It might stick out a little bit against all of the green of the farms. So we'll do a blue house right there with a blue window. And then we'll do another one just next door, trying to line these up as best I possibly can, which I think is going to be about there. And that should be fine. Let's move you into this house. Let's move you into this house. And we're making a little bit more money, which is absolutely fantastic. We can also just do our usual little bit of stone underneath both of those doors, which I absolutely adore. And I guess, what? We need to generate farm points, which we're doing. So that's coming along. You guys are going to need clothes, which is going to be important. So maybe that's something we should do. Maybe we should look into commerce. We should go to apparel and get ourselves a clothing store. Now, the shoemaker is slightly more expensive. I think the clothing store is going to be the pick. I think it's going to look that little bit better. And I like the idea of putting it down here, because we can have those windows on this side just looking out at the train station, which I absolutely love. This guy, I want it to be as close to our roads as possible. I think that right there is about as good as we're going to get. So right there for the clothing store. It is going to cost some money, but that's okay. It is not the end of the world. And what do you guys want? You want decorations surrounded by nature. We can do that. But first, we'll get you some clothing. We're going to say that everyone's going to have yellow clothes around here, because of course they are. Oh, you know what I've just realized? We could do a little road that goes straight through here and connects over this way. And I really like that as an idea. So I'm going to move those trees around. We're going to come down here. We're going to get our size 3 brush, which we have. We'll get our line tool. And this road right here, we need to make sure we don't have any curvature. And we want to go straight through a little something like this is my thinking. And can I get a good curve on that? Is that going to be an option? Do we want to bring this over a little bit further? I think we might, to about there. And then very, very simply, we'll bring this around and just hope that it lines up, which it sort of does, actually. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. That's kind of perfect. It also works as a nice shortcut to get from the train station around to here. And if we do want to build up this way, we can sort of build behind those houses, which I have no problem doing. So I think before I build more houses for these guys, I want to do a little bit of decorating around this warehouse. I've already gone ahead and put some street lights along this main road. I've added some flowers to some of these buildings and some little lanterns here and there. But I love the idea of once again coming through here and making the warehouse feel like it has a bit more of a footprint than it otherwise does. So we'll go into walls, we'll get ourselves, I think the tall stone wall is the best way to go for this. We'll put it right against the warehouse just here. We'll bring it right in line with this road. And I think I'm just gonna bring it right out to about there, which is a bit more room than I think the warehouse. Well, you know what? No, we're not gonna bring it out to there. That's maybe a bit too much. We'll bring this back a little bit. We'll go until we have just about 2 pillars on this, which is apparently there. We'll go a little bit further than that, I think. What about just until we have, you know what? We'll go to about here. We'll just go by feel is what we'll do. So right to about there should be fine. We can add another node and go to, I want to say, well, I don't know how far I want to go with this actually. We'll bring this out to maybe here, maybe a little bit further actually. Bring it in line with the wall that we already have up this way. And then can I connect it to this building without it looking terrible? Is that an option? It looks okay. I think that looks all right. We can maybe just bring this over ever so slightly. It does let me sort of merge it, which is good. That looks really good. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. It gives us this little yard back here. Absolutely love that. I think what I'm also going to do is actually try to paint a little road here. So I'm relatively sure I can get away with this. We have the line tool. We can use the square brush for this. And we just want to, you know what? We'll go a little bit further to the left here. We'll go like this. And if we get rid of the curvature on that, it is kind of working perfectly, which is great. That gives us a little road back to the back part of the warehouse, which I love. We'll sort of bring this out a little bit further and then erase those extra parts, just sort of terminating it in maybe a little, well, do I want to terminate it in a little circle? I don't know if I do. I think that's okay. We don't need to go much further than that because I think a lot of this is going to get terrain painted. So we can go in there with some dithered soft dirt in a few spots just to make it look a little bit more rough around the edges. We can go in with some regular dirt just to sort of, you know, a little bit of color variety. Maybe some autumn leaves. Is that a bit much? That might be a bit much. That might not work too well. Do a couple of patches of dry grass, a little patch of gray grass right there, a little patch of dark grass in that corner. And that seems fine. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be, as we are very well used to at this point. We can do some lights above those windows, and then basically, oh, we get farm decorations at some point. I am so looking forward to that. We can do some crates is what we can do. We'll randomize these so that we have a bunch of random crates just sort of laying around the back of the warehouse, which I think is just going to make it feel that little bit more alive back here, which is exactly what we're looking for. Just a little bit more detail in this space. We can do some barrels in this corner back here as well to have a bit of variety in terms of whatever they might be storing out here, which again is sort of what we're looking for. We'll do something like that, which I think looks great. I would like to get my hands on the ladder, wherever it happens to be. There it is right there. Because I'm kind of thinking we could do a little ladder right about there. It doesn't go anywhere, but maybe it's just leaning against the wall, which is totally fine. We'll do a ladder here as well. Again, doesn't go anywhere, but it's just, you know, in storage or whatever it happens to be. I also totally forgot that we have a little bell right here. That's kind of cool. I don't know what it would be used for necessarily, but we could put it in like the middle of town at some point. I don't know what it would be used for now, but I think eventually we're going to get one of those. And I guess we just need to find more decorations for back here. So let's give them a table. We'll do a little table right there. We'll do a little chair. We'll do another little chair right about there. And we'll do a different type of chair. So that it's not a set of chairs. In fact, we'll do this one as well. It's not a set. It's just a bunch of chairs that have been dragged out and put out back here for people to kind of sit on while they're on break. We'll do a little wooden bench. In fact, we'll do the metal bench just to be a bit different. Put the metal bench right about there. And then I think we just need some greenery. I think we just need some little hints of nature. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, but just a little something to make it feel like there's a bit of nature back here, a little bit of life back here, and maybe a little hint of color as well. Let's go for the, I do like the purple, so I think we'll hit with some purple bushes and maybe some little purple flowers, just again to add a little tiny splash of color to the space. And I think honestly, that's probably okay. Can I do a lantern on that table? Is that an option that we have? It totally is. It's huge, but you know what? I think that'll be pretty good. I do. I think that's perfect for our little warehouse yard. I'm very, very pleased with that. I am thinking that maybe a little lantern just up here could be an idea, and a little lantern just up here could also be an idea, just to light up this street. That seems like a fair idea. And you know what? Some flowers right across here seems like a good idea as well. And you know what? The lanterns right there were a perfect idea. Yeah, I love this. I really, really do. I think that looks great, especially back here. I love this. I'm so pleased with that. Now, in terms of getting more people into this town, I think I'm going to turn off the station. We have 2 families waiting to move in. And I think what I'd like to try and do is get myself some townsfolk residences. I should mention I can absolutely go ahead and give these guys a second floor, but I don't really want to do that right now because my thinking is that we build a little house right here and we let that build nice and quickly. And we build another one right next to it, which is going to be roughly right about, I want to say there. Should be totally fine. So they're nicely lined up. We can do like a little alleyway between them here with like a little dirt or sand road. Obviously, they're kind of just staring at a mountain right now, which isn't ideal. But we can kind of imagine that, you know, they've got a nice view out the back towards the farms, which is completely fine. That's kind of how we're going to choose to look at this. And you know what? Maybe these houses get upgraded. We do only have $735, but we could do this, which makes them a little bit taller. It gives them arguably not much better of a view, but it does let me get 4 families into these houses rather than just 2, which seems like something we're going to be needing. So we'll go ahead and get ourselves our usual 3 wide road right here. We don't have any curves enabled down there. And what we want to do is bring this straight over this way, which is about as straight of a line as I think we're going to manage. And then somehow, some way, connect this all together in a way that's not going to look terrible. So I think we just bring this around. I think we hit it with a nice curve right there. And does that look okay? I think that looks okay. I don't even know if I'm going to bother to put a little extra part in here. I think that looks fine. Because we can do some detailing in here. We can make this all look nice and fancy and decorated and whatnot. We can do maybe a little sandy road in here or a little dirt road. I'm kind of liking the idea of the dirt roads. If I'm completely honest, I do think the dirt roads, given that it's a farming town, kind of make a little bit more sense through here. So we'll just bring this around. We can just try to connect it. You know what? We'll sort of just freeform this little road here. It's not gonna look great, but I think it's okay. I think it kind of works about as well as it's going to, and that's fine. I might put some little notches into it here and there just to make it a little bit less perfect, so that I can go in there with some terrain paint to make it look a bit more like a dirt road. But that's gonna be a little dirt road that lets you get from here to over there. It's gonna need some detailing, but that's okay. Let's paint around it very quickly. We have dithering, which is great. So this is going to help us just blend this all together with the different shades of dirt that we're going to be using. We can use a little bit of gray grass right there, which really, really helps to blend this all together. It really, really is probably the best kind of match for the dirt. But honestly, that's pretty good right there. It's, you know, it's still visible, but it's not terrible. And that's good enough for me. Visible, but not terrible. You know, I don't know about you, but it's always amazing to me just what a few flowers can do to an area. Admittedly, a few trees and some walls as well, but I really, really love how this is starting to come together. I'm really, really pleased with it. I am thinking it might be fun to... Wait, can I put signs in the water? Interesting. Wasn't aware that that was a thing I could do. These guys as well can go in here. You know what? A couple of these guys without flowers on them might actually help to sort of feather this out a little bit and make it look just that little bit better. I do think that does a lot of work for us. We can do maybe just a little individual one here and there to feather things out a little bit more. But what I'd like to do is get just a couple of swans, maybe not the moving ones. Maybe, hold on, I don't like that. I just realized I don't like demolishing swans with a pickaxe. That's certainly a choice. But a couple of swans right there for a little bit of just movement in that space. A couple little ducks just over this way as well. Maybe once again, little trio of ducks just chilling right there is a bit of an idea. And I think that looks great. I really do. I really, really love how that's coming together. I love this little space. I'm also thinking that we probably have the ability, and we do have the ability, to get garden decorations, which is very exciting. But I want the animal shelter, because this is where you can adopt various pets and assign them to families. And I don't know about you. I doubt it's going to be in the food category. It's probably going to be in here. There it is. I want this. I need an animal shelter. Oh, I'm so excited about this. I have not played around with the, I haven't played around with the animal shelter. I knew that pets were added in the animals update. And when I got done with that video where I was sort of, playing around with the animals, oh, I don't have the money for this. Oh no. Well, we need to speed things up is what we need to do. When I was playing around with the animals update in that one video that I did that was like, checking out the animals update, when I got to the end of that video, I was like, hold on a minute. I haven't done anything with pets, and I wasn't really quite sure where and how we get them, but apparently this is how and where we get them. I just need, look, we're making $241. We're doing okay. I need this so much. I also love the idea that it can sit out here next to the granary. I think this is kind of the perfect spot for it, given that it's a little bit out of the way, but we can sort of bring a road up and around here at some point, and I think this will be so good. We can do like a little farm out here as well, maybe bring some crops into this space. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the animal shelter. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if I can get this thing to line up perfectly, which I think it more or less is. I sort of like the idea of it being down here. I think this is kind of the right spot for it. It sort of nicely borders this side of the granary, which is absolutely perfect. The shelter will generate a new selection of assignable pets every day at 5 a.m. The 3 pets will be unique and will not appear again for the next 2 rotations. We have cats, we have dogs. They cost money, which is interesting. They add happiness, which is interesting. Didn't realize they cost money. Pets that are bought but not assigned will be moved to the pet inventory, which can be accessed through the animal shelter or the economy menu. Researching geese in the farm research menu allows geese to be adopted at the animal shelter. Why? Why would someone want to have a Canadian murder chicken as a pet? That's a choice, is what that is. I'll tell you what I'm also thinking. I don't think we do a regular road up here. I think we do like a dirt road as a back road, sort of connecting everything together. That seems like a great idea to me. So let's bring this guy out. I want this to line up as best it possibly can. So I think we'll use the square brush right here and go up to here. That's a little bit steep. It's not it's not a great looking road. I think we want to curve it around. And I realize that if we do curve this around, we're getting very close to our pet shelter, which is okay. It's not the end of the world if we get very close to it. I was just hoping that we'd sort of have some little dirt roads back here, but unfortunately I don't think that's going to be the case because we are admittedly still, going up this hill to make this connection right here. But I think that's all right. I think doing this is fine. It's not really going up the hill. It is a little bit, but it's okay. This guy then, I suppose, can just run straight out here and is sort of parallel to that other road, which I'm okay with. And then we can potentially build a farmhouse in here and put all of its crops around here. We're probably not going to have enough space for a farmhouse in there, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I suppose what we could do is maybe get ourselves a bit of a square brush right here. We can do a little something like this and bring it out to about there. And maybe the pet shelter just gets treated kind of similarly to a farm. Maybe we, you know, try and connect these guys together, connect these roads together, a little something like that. And we can put some fences around this. We could say that this is maybe part of the shelter back here. We could put some houses in here if we really wanted to and give them some decent sized backyards. I'm not really too sure what exactly I'm going to do with all of this space just yet, but I do like this as a thing. I think this looks very cool. I also kind of think we should have a little dirt road that just comes around here. So let's make that happen. Let's get a little dirt road that just comes around the front of the pet shelter. We'll go a little something like this. We do want to get rid of the curves on this road just for now, so that we can make it sort of curve down here, because that's going to be what we're doing with it. We'll go to about here, should be fine. And then we just want to bring it right around a little something like that. And that seems good. I kind of like that. We can maybe give them some space in front as well with some fences. This will act as a bit of a shortcut for people to get around as well, which is okay. And I guess the last thing we need to do, because I'm not going to go too crazy with detailing this thing right now, because, well, to be honest, I did say that this video might end up being a bit of a longer one. I don't necessarily know that I do want it to be well over 2 hours long. You know, look, I enjoy my long form stuff. Like we discussed earlier, I am a fan of long form stuff. I'm not too sure just how well a 2 hour video is going to go down. You know, I'm not too sure about that one. So I'm just gonna, we're not gonna be going too crazy with 2 hour videos here. Now, what way do I want to do this fence is the real question. I'm kind of thinking we sort of curve it like this, and we bring this guy to about there, and then bring it straight over to, I want to say about there. And then some way, somehow, I need to bring it down to here as well. Now that right about there actually looks sort of decent. So I think that's what we're going to do. And then just bring it straight over. And is that okay? I think that's okay. I think it probably would have made more sense to just have this be like a straight section of fence. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I think that looks kind of cool. And I'm also thinking that this is the perfect opportunity to bring back my cypress trees, because we haven't really played with these too much in this map. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3 of them right there. We'll do 1, 2 of them right there. And I might do a little line of them just down this way as well, because I think it would look kind of cool to have this place lined with them a little bit. You know, I kind of love how this has turned out. I'm actually really pleased with this. I think it looks great, and I kind of want to get some people some pets. So we have Gerard with +5 happiness. We have, oh wow, I love this. Okay, let's go for, I'm not going to try and pronounce these. Let's buy you, and let me assign you to a house. I'm going to make you you're going to be a farm cat is what you're going to be. So I have no idea where that cat just went. Have I assigned you? Can I assign you? Have we assigned? I think we did. Yeah, we did just assign the first pet. Oh, that's so good. I don't know where you are, to be honest. I've got no idea where the cat actually happens to be right now, but that's very, I mean, there he is over on the right side of the screen. That's great. I just have no idea. I don't know how to move camera to pet. Oh, wait, where is he? He is in the house is where he is. It is a little bit early, I think, or maybe he's just chilling. I've got no idea. Oh wait, no, I see him. He's on the roof. Oh my God, get down from there, you silly thing. Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to spend so much money giving people pets. This is going to be great. We have a dog that we can give to somebody. Oh man, I'm going to have so much fun doing this. Let's give you guys the dog right there. And then let's find the dog. You are, where is the dog? I doubt the dog's going to be on the roof the way the cat was. So I've got no idea. That's so cool though. That is so cool. I love that that's a thing. I love that that's a thing we can do. I really, really do. That makes me so happy. And I'm so excited to see just animals roaming around. That's very, very cool. Okay, so I have one last little project in mind for today's episode, and it is going to be in this space here. I'm thinking we build a market in there because we don't really have a market right now. Although I will admit, building a market in here is going to be kind of stupid because the coverage sucks. We don't actually cover these houses with this market, but we probably will have a bunch of houses out here that will get covered by it. So I think we can pull this off. I think we can make this work. What I would like to do is try and make this a little bit different to the rest of my markets. Now, I will say just regular old straight roads are a little bit boring, but my thinking is we have our stalls kind of on the inside here. We then bring this road sort of down and around and connect it over there so that people kind of walk in and around this little lake, and we'll just see if that works. We'll see if this kind of works out and does what I want it to do. So we want to do just a little curve right here. We want to bring this down to about here, and then this can sort of follow as best we possibly can the curvature of the lake, which that is trying its best to do. It's not doing a great job of it, but maybe we just want to do a little straight section for a second here and then follow the curvature of the lake, which that's doing a lot of a better job of. This, I probably should just freeform this, to be completely honest with you, but we're a little bit late for that. This then comes down and around. We can do a little straight section here because we can probably do a market stall on this little section of road, possibly. And then this just needs to go down like this is what I'm thinking. So right to about there and straight across. And that is going to be our little market road is what that's going to be. Not too sure if it's going to work. It's a bit of a weird, windy little path, but I'm hoping that what I can do is get some market stalls in here. So we'll do the big stall to start with, which is our, what is that one? That is the vegetable stall. Okay. So we don't want to snap it. We want to make sure we're just sort of free-forming this. And I do need to keep in mind that we're going to want to have some fences around all of this. Oh, I'm not going to have the room that I need to make this happen, but we can do at least a little market in here. Although this one, man, I love this stall. I love that this stall actually kind of fits in here. That is kind of perfect. Let's go for right about there because it does work kind of perfectly. The cheese stall is important to me, so it's going to go in its own little space just over here because I am a cheese enjoyer. That's putting it mildly. I am in fact a cheese enjoyer. The poultry stall and the fish stall, I think we can get both of these. I think we'll do poultry kind of here in the middle. I don't like that they're all super close together, but I think it's okay. I think we can make this work. We'll rotate you around and you can live just over here is what you can do. In fact, we'll go a little bit closer to the road, something like that. And that does give us all the stalls that we would want for a little market right here, which I absolutely adore. So now in terms of decorations, we'll do maybe a little wooden fence. I kind of like the idea of something a bit fancy. Maybe not the fancy one specifically, but like the metal fences could be interesting. Maybe some hedges would be a bit more interesting. It feels a little bit more rustic having hedges in here. Yeah, I like the hedges. Possibly with the tall stone wall behind them at some point, but for now, we're just going to stick with the hedges is what we're going to do. So we'll bring this over. We'll sort of bring it around this curve as best we possibly can to about that spot. And we'll do the same thing just here to kind of fill in this space. And I do like that. I really do. I am thinking that the tall stone wall might look kind of good behind it though. So if we do this, it sort of does. It's maybe a little bit much. There's definitely a possibility that this is overdoing it, but I'm curious to see, do I like that? I don't know that I do. I don't. I think the tall stone wall is actually just a little bit much. So we'll get rid of you, and that's okay. We can do some decorations kind of down this side at some point. We can do, I say some point, we're going to be doing it here in a second. We can do, I think, the first thing, which is going to be a nice layer of bright grass, just to get rid of some of the, oh wow. It is bringing out a little bit more of the, can I do this instead? I don't know if I like the dark grass, but I don't want the, no, we'll stick with the light grass is what we'll do. Just do a nice little layer of light grass in here to change up the textures ever so slightly. And I guess we want to go through and do foliage and detailing before we go too much further with this, because obviously that's more important than getting people actually working out here. Let's do green metal benches. I think those will be quite nice in here. So we'll do a little green metal bench, say there. We'll do a little green metal bench, say there. And I do like the idea of one that's just down here looking out at the water. I think that's kind of the perfect spot for it right there, as well as maybe a little one just up this way next to the house, so people can kind of sit around here and relax and do their thing. We could have probably got, oh, we still can get a picnic bench in here. Let's do a little picnic bench just in the middle of this space, and maybe back there as well. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to get back there, but I like the idea that, you know, you get something from one of the stalls, you can sit and eat it, or someone that's been working at one of the stalls can take a break. I think that's pretty cool. I do like that. And we could also use those, hopefully, to put some lights on, which will brighten this space up quite nicely. We can do some different lanterns on all of the different stalls so that we actually do have some light around here, which is obviously going to be kind of important to the entire space, just making sure that people can see and all that good stuff. So a little lantern right there. We can do a little lantern just in there. Is that going to fit? I don't know if it is. That's okay. Well, there's a light next to it already. That's fine. You can have a little lantern right about there. And I also like the idea that we would have some street lights here. I think we would have at least one by this entrance, and I think we would have one over by this entrance as well. So we'll put it right about there so people can see as they're going in. And at this point, we're kind of just left with bushes and trees. So just because I kind of want one, I'm going to do a nice big tree right here, just to sort of be, you know, a nice huge tree in this space. It doesn't really block anyone's view because these guys don't have much of a view beyond the granary anyway. We'll go to our medium trees. We'll make sure they're randomized, and we'll just start sort of dotting these around the place a little bit, just here and there. I don't want to do too many of them. Maybe just one more in. Can I get one more in here? I can. I actually think that's a bit too much. We'll go to the small trees, and we'll do a small tree right there, small tree back there, a small tree right in here, and maybe back there as well. And I think that's maybe, well, one right about there as well could be pretty good. And there we go. We have a beautiful little market in here that I am so excited to get up and running. I'm slightly concerned that we might not have enough people to run all of this, but I think looking at the numbers, we actually might just have enough, which is fantastic news. Now we do, unfortunately, need to do something about our warehouse, which needs way more people right now. That's a little bit concerning. We can at least get some of it up and running. This is actually where the road upgrades would be kind of useful, to be quite honest with you. I do kind of recognize that road upgrades would be good through here. I think what we'll do though, just to make life a little bit easier, because how many more people do we need for this? 3 more? Oh, do I want to upgrade some houses? I could upgrade these 2. That would give us 2 more families. I think we will add some second floors. We don't have I don't have the money. I don't have the money. Oh no. Okay, well, I guess we're kind of stuck with this not working super efficiently, but I love this. Oh my God. This is such a really adorable little space. I'm really liking using all these dirt roads as well. I think it just really makes it feel, I don't know, it makes it gives it that rustic feel that I was hoping to capture with this little farming town. I do want to get more fields in here. I think this space will need to be another farmhouse, just to kind of keep that vibe, because I don't want this area being super built up. I like the idea that this area is largely going to be fields, and then over here and maybe back here a little bit is going to be a bit more built up. So this, we're going to need to do a little bit of work in here to make that happen. But what we can do, at the very least, is upgrade you, which is going to help us out just ever so slightly. We'll do some flowers up there, and I don't think we'll do flowers on the rest of it. We can open up the train station, and hopefully we're going to start getting some people in here. Although admittedly, I could make some upgrades down here as well if I got the money, which unfortunately I don't have, but it would be an option. Oh no, this is interesting. This family wants to have a pet cat. So we'll put them in there, which has given us 4 workers. So we'll just turn off the trains. We can get 1, 2, 3 people in there, which means all of this is up and running, aside from the fact that they do need more people. So maybe we open up the train station again. A train has just arrived, which is hopefully going to drop some people off. I think it's leaving. That's okay. That's not the end of the world. Them wanting a pet cat is fine. We can give them this cat is what we can do. So you guys, yeah, that gives them, that's going to make them very, very happy. That's great. I love that. I love that so much. I really, really do. It makes me so happy. Just, I mean, I don't see the cat. I don't know where the cat is, but it makes me very happy regardless. We have another family that wants a cat. That's okay. We can move them in here, which gives us room to get another worker down here and another worker down here. And I think, aside from the fact that you now need more workers, we're doing pretty well for ourselves. I think we're doing pretty well. Let's, $500 for a cat. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. We are making $579, but I think, aside from the fact that the butcher needs more people, we're looking pretty good here. And so as far as I'm concerned, that's going to do us for today. I did say right at the start that this was probably going to be a bit of a longer episode because I wanted to do some things back in Bellevue, and I wanted to do some things here as well with farming, which I think we've done. We've played around with pets as well, which I am so excited about. Everyone's going to be getting cats and dogs, and eventually geese as well. That's absolutely going to be happening. But yes, that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.